What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the Real Ones Canes podcast. Sorry for the long hiatus. Things happen in the summer. It is the summer. The summer will summer, and also Cam needs air conditioning to survive in South Florida. So we've gotten all that taken care of, and therefore we will now get back in to our Miami Hurricanes. Cam, a couple of things I want to get to on the show.
Hi, hello, welcome. My name is Cam Underwood, managing editor, StateOfTheU, co-host here of the Real Ones Canes podcast. Look, I have a microphone too. I do the talky thing. You can follow me on Twitter at the StateOfTheU or at Underwood Sports. The website is StateOfTheU.com. You can see it right there if you're watching. This handsome bald brother of mine over here that I'm pointing to on the screen, hopefully this is the right direction.
No,
his name is Brian the Beast London. You can follow him on, he likes to call it X. Mama name Twitter, I'm going to call it Twitter. But you can follow my good friend at Miami Radio Beast, also on the inter-cyberwebs on TikTok, the Real Ones Canes podcast, and everywhere else. So yeah, we are here. We are back. I did not have air conditioning, and now I do. And you did not have an intro, and now you do. So like, subscribe, share, and I yield my time. I toss the baton back to my good friend, Mr. London, to lead us through today's proceedings.
See what happens when we take off? I get rusty. That's what happens.
That's crazy. Since you started at UM Radio in the year of our Lord 1847, and it's been on there ever since. So come on, man.
It's about reps, man. It's just you got to keep doing it, man.
This is true.
If you take off a week, you get a little rusty. You got to keep it going. So,
all right, let's get it.
Let's dig in. I know there's a couple of recruiting stories to touch on. I find it hilarious. Not only do we dominate, South Florida, but we dominate Alabama, Georgia, and also oddly Chicago. The Canes seem to dominate in all locations. And I kind of listen, I'm always going to love keeping the kids home that we need to keep home, but to be a national recruiting brand is something. Yeah, no, we've
elevated the priority a little bit to the national part of the recruiting. I wrote a piece up on StateOfTheU.com, which you can still read, called The Recruiting Rules, where it said, you got to start locally and then go nationally. And I kind of had it as like a 2/3 to 1/3, like 2/3 national in your class, and then 2/3 local, 1/3 national. We're almost flipping that a little bit. It's a little over 50-50. I think it's like 55% of our commits are national kids, and then the remainder are local, state of Florida kind of guys. And I'm here for it, man. Hey, go where the players are. It's the old adage, why do people rob banks? Because that's where the money's at. You know what I mean? So, we're going to go where the players are, and I'm totally here for it. I love making the inroads in Chicago because, there are great athletes in the Midwest that we can get. The Cali Canes train is, one that we are leveraging heavily in this recruiting class. And last, also, and the one before that even. So, Hayden Lowe 2 years ago, Vance Spafford and Israel Briggs last year. And then, Dante Wright and other. I mean, you can go back to Keyshawn Smith coming from San Diego Lincoln late when he early enrolled. So, yeah, no, I'm totally here for it. Look, we're going to go get the players that we need. And I know there was somebody, because everybody always wants to talk about, territorialism or imperialism, as they call it, for recruiting and whatnot. So, are Miami, Florida, and Florida State not doing anything in the state of Florida? I'm like, we're getting lots of great guys. And to your point, look at where else we're going and getting guys from the top of the list. You know what I mean? Even if we're not getting everybody locally, we're going and taking the best players from other teams' backyards, and lots of them who are committed to big time, either Big Ten or SEC teams. Now they come to the U, baby.
Well, I guess the one question that matters to most of the fans is, are we sacrificing the recruitment of any kids locally because we are going nationally?
I mean, you have to make choices. You always have to make life is about choices. I say that to a friend of mine all the time. So there were always, when you were recruiting heavily 80% of your class from Florida, people would always be loud about their favorite one or two players who Miami either didn't get or didn't recruit or whatever, because you can't take everybody, and you're going to have to make choices.
Yep.
And I know that we want local kids to stay home and put on for the brand, put on for the crib. Wesley Bassane did it. Malachi Tony's doing it. Ruben Bain. We love those guys. But if there are better players elsewhere who want to come on down, come on down. Now, all things being equal, I would like to keep the hometown kid here, which we have done with a lot of different guys. But, I mean, to the point of the question, there probably have been some tough decisions of a local South Florida or Florida native guy, and we're saying, well, we're going to go in a different direction. We've seen that.
The other thing, too, is this. It takes two to tango.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always our decision, right? Like, there's been cases where a kid literally just wanted to go somewhere else, no matter what we did, no matter how much we offered, no matter X, Y, and Z. They simply just wanted to go somewhere else for whatever reason, and so be it. Like, you can't get everybody.
And when you have that knowledge, then you leverage your recruiting efforts elsewhere. For example, I know it's not necessarily directly analogous, but just bear with me. If early on you had a feeling that Mark Matthews, while you were expending all this energy, was thinking, I'm probably not going to be a Miami Hurricane when he was a high school junior, right? That means I'm really going to double, triple, quadruple down on Jackson Cantwell, Ben Congdon, and Joel Irvin. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm trying. And if it seems like it ain't going to shake, then I'm going to go make something shake, right? Similarly, I think this is actually the correct chronology for this, because one was the year before and one was the year after, or 2 years after. If you were going so hard, as was reported and known, after Ben Hanks from Booker T, a Florida legacy who went to Florida, was a freshman last year in the 2025 recruiting class. Cool. Now I'm going all in on Dante Wright, who's committed to Georgia. So now I know it's a full cycle after that one, but now I'm going to leverage myself where I need to go. And I know it's like it's easier for people to see it if it's like the same year of I tried to get Dalvin Cook. We didn't get Dalvin Cook, so we got Joe Yearby from Central. We were recruiting them both, but that kind of visualization in time is easier. But you can still see that. So, we are doing our due diligence, but I think that even more than where a player is from, they fit the DNA of this program, and they have the athletic profile to fit and be the caliber of player that we need, regardless of where they're from. So, there's always going to be some hurt feelings. There's going to be some, tough cookies, but that's just how it is.
All right, before I have a couple of poignant questions to ask you. Okay. But before we do that, is there any not breaking recruiting news, but timely recruiting news that the people need to know that we would be remiss if we didn't pass along? Is there anything like that out there in the dog days of summer for everyone else, but not for college football coaches?
Yeah, I'll give you 3.
Okay.
One for the current cycle, 2 for next cycle.
Okay. Do
you want to start? Well, of course we will. So DJ Jacobs, largely known as like a top 3 player in this class, 6'6", 235-pound defensive end from Georgia, was going to commit to Miami. I have no idea what Ohio State did in the hour before his commitment to get him to commit there instead. Earlier, it was during the college football playoffs. Before we played them. I think it was the week of the A&M game. His whole family was sour-faced. They wanted Miami. He wanted Miami. I have no idea what happened. So I say all of that to say Miami has not given up in that recruitment. They are continuing to push and be like, hey, remember why you liked us first? Remember why you were going to commit here? Ain't none of that changed, boss. We're still as committed to you. We're still as bought in. And, if you follow Rivals or On3 or 247, all of them are, and I think Rivals and On3 are together now because they were whatever. But anyways, basically in the world of recruiting, pretty much everybody's like, hey, Miami's pushing for this 5-star flip. What you going to do? So that's one to know. David Jacobs, his initials are DJ, so he goes by DJ. I don't know. But DJ Jacobs from Georgia, that's the name to know in this class. He's a very different body type than Jaden Bryant, the 5-star that we flipped earlier from LSU at defensive end. And I like that diversity of size and skill. It's like how Mesidor and Bane were not physically or skill set wise the same player. That's okay. You need a diversity of bodies, you need a diversity of skill sets, and you can use them all up and down the line in a variety of ways. So now if you pair Jaden Bryant with DJ Jacobs and the plethora of players that we have along the defensive line, now you're really, really, really in a great space. So that's one to watch. The other two are 2028 kids.
Yep.
They are from the state of Florida, like we've been talking about.
Yes.
And they are both from the city of Jacksonville.
Oh.
One, Bryson Wright, the number one, for me, player in the country. 6'3", 218-pound wide receiver. He made a viral catch a couple of years ago as a high school freshman rising sophomore. And 7-7, he continues to do crazy stuff. I don't talk about players in the caliber and class of Jeremiah Smith ever because I think he's the best wide receiver prospect I've ever seen. Bryson Wright is in that conversation, physically, athletically, and performance-wise. I do not say that lightly. He attends Jacksonville Mandarin, the same high school where his quarterback, Knox Annis, in 2028 is already committed to Miami, the same high school to which Carson Beck attended way back in the day. Their colors, orange and green and white. I believe they are the Mustangs, but hey, but he's a player who showed out well at the opening finals, and that is one that Miami is chasing very hard, and known to be on his Bryson Wright's short list is the University of Miami. Also, Asher Giotto, G-H-I-O-T-O is how you spell that last name, a 6'5" edge rusher from Jacksonville Bulls, has been to Miami several times.
He looks like a stud, by the way.
He is a stud.
He's like 6'5", 250, 240, 250. Like,
come on. Yeah. If you're buying jerseys and you see him walking, yeah, that's the that one. Can I buy it off the model?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So he's been to Miami several times. He came and participated, got coached by Jason Taylor several times this summer, including at Legends Camp. And Miami is widely thought/known to be leading his recruitment to the point where several recruiting writers have even put in predictions for the young Mr. Giotto to commit to the University of Miami. There's not necessarily a timeline with that, but the connection is so strong. So just wanted to share those things, and those are three elite players. So even if you are recruiting casual and you go talk to your friends who are even less knowledgeable about recruiting as you, if you say DJ Jacobs, Asher Giotto, and Bryson Wright, that will give you street cred in the recruiting street. So Miami's working on all three of those guys, and we'll see what happens.
All right, I have two poignant questions for you.
Oh, those weren't the poignant questions? Okay.
No, that was just like,
just
hey,
the rundown. My bad.
No, it's all good. Okay, so first one,
yes,
it has to do with the state that we live in, not like the proverbial state, like the actual state of Florida.
I was going to say like the state of the U, or
no. I mean, yeah, it's a great website. Everyone should go check it out right now. StateOfTheU.com. Speaking of the state of Florida, all things being equal, give me a reason why a kid, other than familial or something like that, why would a kid pick a school like Florida or Florida State over Miami at this point?
I mean, it would have to be a kind of nebulous feeling, kind of that je ne sais quoi. Maybe there's a specific academic program.
Okay, sure.
Or something, like I know that young Zach London will be attending Florida State University for that reason.
Yeah.
I picked the University of Miami for that reason.
Yeah.
Right? I picked Vanderbilt and I couldn't make the money work. And so then it was because of the secondary education program when I was coming out of high school before I switched to music ed, but whatever. But you know what I mean? So like something like that, maybe you went and had a transformational tour experience. Maybe there's just something else. But if you're looking at like the nuts and bolts of like,
that's what I'm talking about.
Program right now, like, I don't know. Maybe you're bought into what the coaches are selling about the future. Maybe you want to be just like Ruben Bain and Francis Mawinoa. They bought what Marcus Ball was selling. We could have went somewhere and won sooner, but we want to be part of this rebuild. Maybe your importance to that organization has that, but it's really strong to see performance.
I would think it'd be just just trying to be unbiased, I would think that kind of line of thinking may work well or work better in Gainesville than Tallahassee, but that's just my own thought process.
Well, I mean, Tallahassee continues to lose players
left and right, yes.
Left, right, and center. They even had a player from Tallahassee decide, yeah, I'm not going to go here. But also, that player committed to Stanford, and I'm like, well, I mean, if you're choosing, you know, like I'm on record. I don't know if I said it on here, but like, you know, had I really, really, really pushed my academics even higher than I did, because like basically I got to high school because, you know, whatever, high school was my Harvard, and I went to the high school I always wanted to at Cranbrook and everything. But like I had a great experience there, but I didn't really, 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 really strive for high achievement. Had I really, Stanford would have been the goal. Like absolutely, the more that I know about Stanford, my God,
it's like a top 2 or 3.
Yeah, that would have been the goal. So I do not begrudge that person from leaving Tallahassee to go out to Palo Alto. Definite, you know, steps up. That was the first question. What's the second question?
All right. Let's rank colleges, and I don't even know how to even rank this because it's so it's such an argumentative topic. But let's go tiers of schools when it comes to recruiting. Okay, so
okay,
for like top of the tier, like and yes, we could look at like right now, right? Like as of today, like Texas A&M is the top of the top, and then, you know, maybe Miami's right underneath them, or depending on what scores you're looking at. But just forget that for a second. Just in general, like over the last year or two, and then like the next year or two, so like a 5-year span that includes this year. Where does Miami sit on the tier of schools when it comes to recruiting? Are we like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, are we close to the top, like there, level 1, or are we just underneath the creme de la creme, or where do you think we sit?
Miami's unquestionably a top tier recruiting team. Unquestionably, we've fought recruiting battles against those who would be known as the elites. And we've gone toe to toe. You win some and you lose some. You know, you're not going to go 100%. But yeah, no, Miami's an elite, top tier, tier 1, top of the list. So that would be Ohio State, Georgia,
sure. Yep.
Miami.
Would you throw Oregon in there?
Oregon is probably the bottom of the top tier for me.
Okay.
But like, I would put them up there.
But no more Alabama.
No. That was all Nick Saban. And a thing that I know to be factually true. You're not even Alabama benefited by getting the Nick Saban discount because he was there. Yes. You know what I mean?
Right, sure.
You're no longer getting the discount, and now you no longer
have is it a discount or the Nick Saban bump?
No, it was a bump in interest, but I'm talking about money. Buddy.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Because even though Nick Saban wants to pretend like teams only started spending money on players now,
it's the most asinine
again, something that I know to be true, but I can't, out my sources. I know that they were paying play. And even if you don't know and see the things that I've seen and heard things that I've heard, brother, every single player who went to Alabama had a new Charger Scat Pack, or you know what I mean? Like, come on, dog. But you want to act like all of a sudden now it just started? No, but players they were getting the discount, the financial discount on what they had to outlay, and the boost in reputation from having Saban there. They're not getting that anymore. They're what, 35th, 53rd in this year's current recruiting class right now?
It's not. No. It's not good. I don't even think by the way, Georgia is, not at the top.
Georgia's at the top. Georgia's
not according to the actual rankings.
Currently, yes.
Yes, currently. Georgia, I'm just saying, like, that's Georgia's what I'm talking about.
Right, but they still have Kirby Smart. And they still have the same recruiting department. They still got Todd Hartley there recruiting tight ends and everything. And I know that he helps out with other positions. They have other very good recruiters on that staff. Georgia's at the top of the list. But I mean, like, if I were to go your top 10, it would be Miami, and not in a specific order. I'm just naming the top tier of recruiting teams in America. It's Miami, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Texas. LSU is going to get the bump because of Lane Kiffin, so that's 7. USC has really been doing some work out west. 8.
They have.
And then, Michigan actually does very well also in the world of recruiting. And then probably a random team that I'm missing at 10. I don't want to say Texas Tech because they're more transfers than like high school stuff, even though they do get a couple. They have gotten a couple of 5 stars. It's really been like a couple, not the preponderance that other teams will get. But regardless of what the breakdown is, Miami is very, very, very much in that top tier. And you've seen that from Mario Cristobal's very first cycle here, where, again, he went toe-to-toe against everybody in America and went and got Francis Mauigoa and Ruben Bain, who everybody in America wanted. And even coming off of that terrible, horrible, no good, very bad first season here, he went and got them boys. If that don't talk to you about the quality of the recruiting apparatus in Coral Gables, I don't know what else will.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. It's what Mario has been able to accomplish has been, I think it's what we all hoped he would accomplish, but to actually see it in real time has been unbelievable. All right, Cam, I've got another huge question for you. And
bonus.
This one, I don't know. It might make you stop and have to like marinate for a moment, or you might be able to just quick draw on this one. I'm not sure, but I've been thinking about it all day, and I don't even know what side I come down on. So we'll see how you deal with that. Plus, there's some basketball news to get to that we have to talk about, and I need to ask you about this Big 12 monster marketing situation.
Oh my Lord!
It's one of the I can't even believe what's happening there. All right, we will take a break. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, like, comment, and if you haven't already, go check out StateOfTheU.com. We'll be back right after this on the Real Ones Canes podcast. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the Real Ones Canes podcast. That man sitting next to me virtually is Cam Underwood. He's managing editor at State of the U. Follow Cam and his staff and the wonderful work they do at StateOfTheU.com at the State of the U on Twitter. Please do that. Go check out StateOfTheU.com right now for some great articles that are up there all the time. Go check it out. Open 24/7, 365, and it's free.
You know it.
I am Brian the Beast London. Follow me at Miami Radio Beast. Cam, here it is. You ready?
Let's go.
Might it be more advantageous as we are coming upon what will probably be more realignment in college football? If the ACC still exists as a conference, might it be more advantageous for Miami to stay in the ACC, given the revenue sharing that occurs if you make it to the college football playoff and then some, rather than going to compete in the Big Ten or SEC, where it may be harder to get to the postseason than it is now?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
I thought that I was going to, when you gave me the lead in before the break, and behind inside baseball for, but I didn't know. Like Brian doesn't tell me the questions he's going to ask. Like we hit general topics, but like sometimes like I have a thing I want to ask you, and this is that thing I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to have a quick answer. I don't. My initial reaction, however, is maybe I kind of ideate this live and talk through it. My initial thought is the only way that it could be viable or possible for Miami to be in better stead moving forward to remain as ACC as opposed to moving to another conference is if the ACC leadership holistically changes their mentality, treatment, interaction, and engagement with, of, and in support of the University of Miami. Because we have been paid short shrift. We have been cheated, hoodwinked, lied to, and bamboozled. We have been an afterthought to the Tobacco Road, North Carolina, state of North Carolina teams and region, which is the home and the genesis for this conference. And I don't even necessarily begrudge them for focusing at home before, really taking care of people across the street. But like we're always, Miami has always been the redheaded stepchild. We've always been we've been the Cinderella, the team or the addition to the family who was unwanted, and they treated us as such. That would have to change. We would have to become their favorite person. We would have to become the crown prince, the prize jewel of their eye. It would have to be that, or very close to that, in mentality and operations for Miami to remain in the conference and that be advantageous overall. I don't see that happening. I know it's needed. It's what we need on our side of the street, but that does not incite the action on their side of the street. With that being said, yes, go ahead. You got it.
No, that being said, go ahead.
No, just that being said, I think that if the move for the teams at the top of the sport, especially of football, because it's really what we're talking about, is to the words of President Joe Echeverria from a couple weeks ago on the Joe Rogan show, that Miami is going to be in that conversation and will have a seat at that table and be in whatever the next iteration of realignment looks like, then go do that. But, this is akin to being married to someone for 24 years and saying, hey, foundationally, I need damn near everything to change for me to stay and for it to be valid for me. So that means your mentality. That means your self-talk. That means the way that your thoughtfulness. You don't remember all of the little things that you can think of in a relationship like that. Think of all those things on steroids for the athletic department. That's what we would need and require from the Atlantic Coast Conference. I don't necessarily see them doing that, even though it's what we would require, or that's how I see.
So a couple of things. One, on a bright spot, the head of officiating for the ACC, Al Riveron, is retiring. So thank God for that.
Thank goodness.
Please get someone in there that is not blind and pathetic. Here's my thought process. If my research is correct, quite more than half of the Atlantic Coast Conference's revenue comes via college football and the various, whether it's the schools, media rights, all that stuff. It does not come from college basketball, which this conference historically has been leaning towards the college basketball rather than the college football. But the way the sports in college athletics have kind of panned out here with everything, college football is leading the way. Even with the NCAA tournament and all the money it makes and all that stuff. Okay. So that all being said, if I looked at the state of college athletics and where the money is coming from, and if I want to have a viable future as a conference, then I better start listening to the schools that bring me football revenue, because that is where the money comes from. Because if I listen to the Dukes and the North Carolinas that bring me basketball revenue, but that basketball revenue is bupkis compared to the college football revenue, then I am doing it backwards. Then I might as well be the Big East.
But that's still, even with this being true, and that football money trumps basketball money, and basketball money it's good. Like, we all want that money, but it's fractional.
Correct.
But to the Atlantic Coast Conference, headquartered in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Well, they're moving to Charlotte, but yes.
Whatever. But the tournament every year was in Greensboro for the longest.
Correct, yes.
They're just now moving to the major city in that state. Just now. Why? Because they didn't have to. Because this is who we are. And to challenge and change that is existential for them. And I'm not sure that they're going to be willing to change their mentality. This is a major thing. This is a major thing. I can't even say it enough times. It's just, I hear you and I agree with you. We both went to the U. We are on the same podcast.
Correct.
I hear you. I don't believe this will be their reaction, or that they will do what is necessary, because to change these things and to focus, and listen to the University of Miami, or next in line, who? SMU and Louisville? How many teams do we got to go through? Maybe then Clemson, which is in South Carolina, not even in North Carolina. But I got to now listen to and take direction from somebody all the where else, and not us and the people. How many schools in North Carolina are ACC members? Wake, Duke, NC State, and somebody else. And who's the fifth one? Or is it just four?
No, I think it's just four.
Just four.
Duke, North Carolina, NC State, Wake Forest.
Cool. But these are the teams. This is who we are. This is the foundation of the Atlantic Coast Conference. We're not listening to them newcomers from down south in Miami or out there in SMU. SMU, what are we even talking about? Because they said we'll come over and don't even take a financial distribution at all because we just want to be back to the big time. I hear you. I think it's what needs done. I don't think the ACC leadership will ever do that.
Well,
I don't.
Normally I would agree with you, but the world we live in is so rapidly changing that literally, if the leadership of the ACC does not listen to a guy like President Echeverria, where if he goes up there and says, "Listen, boys, you know how much money we brought to your conference last year? You know how many eyes watched our games last year? You know all the blank, blah, 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 blah. You better pay us some respect or we're out." Like, if the leadership of the ACC is not listening to that, then I don't want to be involved in their conference. But
I agree. And it'll go the exact same way as the Pac-12.
The point is this. Listen, I fear no one and bring on all competitors. Like,
damn right.
The gauntlet we went through to get to the national championship game was unbelievable. But you know what? On a year-in, year-out basis, would it be easier to get to the title game or to the playoff in the ACC as it stands right now than it is in the SEC or the Big Ten? Yes.
Yeah, no, true.
But if money talks, then we have to have a different discussion. All right, real quick before we get out of here. Yes. We can't forget about the men's basketball team because Jay Lucas and his staff have done a good job. Basically, every year, let's just remake a team. Let's just completely rebuild a team because that's how it is these days. First, some good news, right? Some amazingly awesome news. Marcus Allen, he'd been going through cancer treatment for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He is cancer-free, so props to that young man. And I hope he's going to be a part of the program. And I'm so ecstatic for that news. So props to him on that.
That's the greatest thing, being able to go and battle that and come out victorious and everything. Yeah, but the news that he's fully cancer free is just, I mean, that's bigger than sports, man. That's just an incredible thing. I'm so happy for Marcus Allen, and wish him, the best. And if he's able to, continue to pursue basketball, great. If, his life takes him in a different path, I'll support him in that. But yeah, this is bigger than the University of Miami. This is bigger than sport, man. So just so happy for him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And then Jay Lucas added some depth to the program in the big man spot, and it's something that I'm not sure we'll be able to do for much longer because this is one of those things that's going to be addressed by Congress if that bill passes. I don't even know if it's where it is, what have you, but basically the University of Miami went to Russia and got a professional basketball player the other day, Igor Rizov. He is a 21-year-old. He comes to the University of Miami, that basically a fully formed professional athlete. So, and he looks the part. Wears a headband. He's got blonde locks of hair.
Yep.
He looks the part. He played
6'11", 220, like basically, a big 7-footer with size and skill.
Yeah. So, and this is something that I don't know it's going to be able to happen much longer. Miami or any team being able to go and get a professional from another country.
Yeah. We will see about that, obviously, with the whatever the SAVE Act or whatever that is, and if and when it goes through. But in the interim, or in the lack of that, Igor Rizov is on his way here, or has signed, been announced by the University of Miami athletic department. So welcome to the U. Glad to have another big man on the roster. We definitely needed that. And yeah, I mean, we might add another player to the roster, but I mean, I think the way that the roster looks right now is pretty decent. And yeah, we can just go from there.
All right. Before we get out of here, the Big 12 is going to Big 12. Brett Yormark, who is the twin brother of Michael Yormark, who was being considered for the Miami AD position, which we have no update on. But maybe in the next month or so we'll get an update on. But Brett Yormark is the commissioner of the Big 12, and he comes out and he announces this big, huge, amazing sponsorship deals because we can put logos on jerseys now. I'm like, okay. and I see it come across my screen. Big 12 signs a sponsorship deal with Monster Energy drink. Okay, great. This has got to be for a ton of money, right? Like the whole conference, like I don't know, whatever, 14, 16 teams, however many it is in the Big 12, is going to put this logo on their jerseys. I'm like, this has got to be a ton of money. And then I see it's $20 million. And I kept reading it because I thought a zero was missing.
Wait, so like 20 million per team, right?
No, for the whole conference.
Oh. Yeah. That is a deplorable decision.
I don't get it. Like
it's just wrong. Like it's just it's such a terrible valuation. It just doesn't even make any sense.
Wait, it's gonna get a lot worse when I tell you what is included in this deal. Okay, $20 million, plus covering initial costs and expenses. Okay, a year for the jersey patch and a court field logo for football, men's and women's basketball. Okay, Monster Energy gets the following assets: co-branded patches across 48 teams, field and court logos for 48 programs. Apparently, mic flags and signage at Big 12 events. Monster Energy Big 12 football is what it has to be called now. Monster Energy Big 12 basketball is what it has to be called now. Exclusive energy drink sponsorship category. And all sorts of activations outside games, Big 12 tournaments, and championship games. For $20 million.
Yeah, that's... it's laughable. Like, I laugh because it is laughable. It is such a low valuation for the marketing output. It is just, yeah. Didn't Kansas just sign a $2 million deal for the patch on their own individual jerseys? Like that's because you can do because you have the monster, but you can also do your own.
They signed a deal with
right.
I think it's XRP or something.
Right. But my point is this then. How many teams are in the Big 12? 12, actually, or?
It could be 12.
I think it's 12. I believe it's 12. At a $2 million per team valuation, the contract should be at least $24 million per year for football alone, going off of Kansas for selling their jersey patch for $2 million, right? Minimum. But then you're going to loop in men's basketball, women's basketball, the whole branding of what it is called on these. I'm not calling it that. And then all of the other on the field and on every court and so every broadcast, every replay, every, and you give all of that, all the breadth of that for $20 million total.
By the way, the deal that Kansas signed with XRP, which is Ripple, the cryptocurrency, $30 million over 5 years for just one school.
So that's $6 million. It's exponential, the undervaluation that Yormark has agreed to. Again, just based upon Kansas football. We're not even talking about the basketball, which really, again, like the ACC leads the way and everything. But even still, it's just such it's such fractional value to be the premium, premier, front-facing sponsorship. It blows my mind. This is wild.
It is wild. Listen, I'll be honest with you. If the University of Miami came home with a $20 million deal for all this stuff for, the jersey patches for basketball and football and court logos and field logos and all this stuff, I would even think that was low for the University of Miami for a deal. Meanwhile, the whole conference of 12 teams. I was blown away by that. And wow. Please don't hire his brother. That's all I can say is just don't.
I
please
believe
stay
that
far.
Sailed.
Yeah, please don't. Maybe next week we'll have an update on that whole situation. I'll have to make some phone calls. I stayed away from people because it was the 4th of July and all that stuff. But maybe I'll make some phone calls over the weekend and see where we are with that.
Well, I mean, eventually we'll have to have an athletic director, so we will,
Well,
look into that and everything. But yeah, we just continue through the summer, and yeah.
all right, man. Well, I look forward to talking to everyone next week. I look forward to seeing you next week. I hope everyone goes and checks out stateoftheu.com. Some great
Please
stuff
do.
up there. Please go check it out. Open 24/7 and it's free. And please like, subscribe, comment, give me the thumbs up. Give me the thumbs up, not another finger, please. You can give me that at a different time. And comment if you'd like, and we will jump in the comments with you, Cam. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Absolutely, man. You guys take care. We'll see you next time.
Right here on the Real Ones Canes podcast. Peace.